Hudson Valley, fall means apple season. And whether you enjoy a day apple picking at a local orchard or you buy the apples in the store, you're bound to make something with apples. I'm Jen Adams, and today I'd like to share with you one of my family's favorite apple cinnamon muffin recipes. It's a great grab and go breakfast treat or an afternoon snack. Let me show you how I do it. I start with a cup and a half of all-purpose flour. And now when you're baking, you want to make sure that your ingredients are true. So I just use my offset spatula to level off my ingredients. Okay. To that, I'm adding a half a cup of wheat germ. And I remember my mom, she used to sneak this into our pancakes because there's quite a bit of nutrition in wheat germ. There's vegetable protein as well as fiber. To that, I'm adding a tablespoon of baking powder and a half a teaspoon of salt. Let's give that a little mix. Let's move on to the wet ingredients. I'm starting with 1 egg, and I like to put them in a little bowl just in case. There's always a very good chance that I drop an eggshell in there. And to that, I'm adding a half a cup of granulated sugar, and a half a cup of brown sugar. Now you may ask, what is this? This is a marshmallow. It's a s'mores marshmallow actually for this time of year, and I keep that in my brown sugar because it helps keep the brown sugar fresh without drying out. So I want to make sure I pack my brown sugar because brown sugar actually has more air in it than granulated. So you want to really, I'm going to get in there and just use my hands, pack it down. And let's add that. I'm using a little indulgence. This is really good vanilla. I love it. But as long as you're not using imitation vanilla, any brand will do. And I tend to go a little heavy-handed. This is a teaspoon and then some of vanilla. I love the smell. Okay, let's give that a mix. I just want to incorporate that. Cream it together. Looks good. And to this we're going to add a 1/4 cup of melted butter. That's a half a stick, as well as a 1.25 cups of Greek yogurt. Now you could use plain Greek yogurt. I'm using vanilla Greek yogurt. We like the flavor of that. We tend to just naturally have it in the house because we make lots of smoothies. We make yogurt parfaits. And this will add great moisture to the muffins as well as protein. In fact, this particular brand I think has 14 grams of protein. And the most important ingredient, a teaspoon, a heaping teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And let's mix that together. Smells like fall in here. Okay, that's it for our wet ingredients. Smells so good. Let's check the batter. Perfect. Now let's add our dry ingredients. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit so it doesn't get all over. You just want to mix it until it's incorporated because you don't want your batter to be tough. Spin that a couple times. I like to take my chance and swirl it off. Let's see. Not bad at all. Alrighty. Now, I think it's important to use a spatula and make sure you always scrape down your mixing bowl. Make sure everything's well incorporated. And then I'm adding 2 cups of apples. Today I'm using Fuji. You could use Max, you could use Ida Reds. And I like to make sure that I mix the apples by hand. That way I know each muffin will have a bite of apple in them. All right, let's set that aside and let's make the topping for our apple cinnamon muffins. I'm starting with a 1/4 cup of flour and a cup of brown sugar. Let's just pack that in there. And more cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon this time. Can you really ever have too much cinnamon? I don't think so. And to this, a 1/4 cup of diced butter. And I'm going in with clean hands and I'm going to mix this up until it becomes a streusel. The heat of my hands will warm up the butter. It should incorporate nicely. I always told my kids, messy food is the best tasting food. So, we're doing a good job making a mess here, guys. And now I'm going to scoop my batter into greased muffin tins. Can you see how these are little pea-sized pieces? That's what you want. And I'm using an ice cream scoop to make sure. Let me just give this one more toss. You see all those chunks of apples? Let's just take our ice cream scoop and we're gonna fill it to the top. Because this is a heavy batter, we can fill it. It's not gonna really rise that much. So fill them up. Every piece has big chunks of apples. You can really smell the cinnamon and the vanilla for sure. Just scrape the sides here. You don't want to waste any of that. Perfect. And then let's add our cinnamon and brown sugar mixture to the top. So these are delicious, but they're also pretty healthy. You have the wheat germ, you have the apples, and the yogurt. So you can feel good about giving these to your kids for a breakfast in the morning or after school snack. And now I'm going to bake them in a 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes until they're nice and golden.